Today, we got to meet Juan Soto at his introductory press conference. John Heyman gives some comments on where the Mets are going, and Juan Soto talks about his future with the New York Mets and what separated him between the New York Mets and the New York Yankees. Next on MetCast. Welcome back to MetCast, friends. As always, I am Ray, and if you like our content, please consider liking and subscribing. It greatly helps the channel. Today was the introductory press conference for none other than, obviously, Juan Soto. He got into why he chose the Mets, what the Mets is about, who runs New York, why he didn't choose the Yankees. His agent talked about everything going on with the Mets and what they expect to happen in the future. And also, John Heyman lays down the law on where the Mets need to be in regard to getting a slugger to help protect Juan Soto in the lineup. Is Mark Vientos enough? But let's get into the first clip. It comes courtesy of Juan Soto and why he chose the Mets.
I don't think it was the Mets over the Yankees. I think it was 5 teams that we have right there on the table. I don't think it had to do anything with the Mets or the Yankees. I think we have all 5 teams pushing into the last moment, into the last time of making the decision, and we went over the Mets.
But you left the team where you said you had a good experience.
Yeah.
What did they not do that made you decide to go someplace else?
I feel like they did everything that they have in their power to help me out, to bring me back. But I have other 4 teams doing the same thing and trying to make me feel comfortable. And at the end of the day, we look at everything. We look at the chances, and we look at what other teams want to do and what team everybody wants to do for the next 15 years. And I think we have the best chances over here.
I think clear as day right there, what he's saying is what we all think he's saying. He chose the New York Mets because of the future. When Hal Steinbrenner came out last year and made those comments about how you can't spend consistently at where they were currently spending, I think that was a nail in the coffin. Juan Soto talked about wanting to win multiple World Series. There was a quote that came out that Steve Cohen and Juan Soto were talking about how many championships they want to win while Juan is here, and they said between 2 and 4. That's one of the quotes that I seen floating around. I 100% believe it. Juan Soto wants to win championships, and when you look at the Yankees, you have an aging Aaron Judge. Just face the facts. The guy's 33 already. An aging Stanton. And then when you look around the rest of the team, who do you really have? You have an aging Cole. They brought in a Max Fried after the fact, so he wasn't even on the team. Obviously, you have Gil, who's a solid player. No one knows what Dominguez is. And then you look across town at the New York Mets. Stability. Francisco Lindor. Francisco Alvarez. Mark Vientos is young. Brandon Nimmo's here for the long haul. Edwin Diaz coming out of the pen. Look at it. It's a volume of consistency. David Stearns isn't going anywhere anytime soon. There were rumors a couple of years, just last year, that Aaron Boone might lose his job as the Yankees manager. Carlos Mendoza is not going anywhere anytime soon. And I think that also played a factor. Now, we also have some other things to get to. What was his goal with Juan Soto and how he viewed the future?
For Steve, you've done a lot over the last 5 years to try to improve the reputation of this franchise. What does this move do in terms of achieving that?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a huge move. I think it's, just puts an accent on what we're trying to do. I mean, it just, like I said, it accelerates, our goal of winning championships. But more important, I think, I kind of said it in the locker room after one of our playoff victories that, my goal was to change how the Mets were viewed, and I think we're really on the path of changing that. And we're never going to stop. We're always in a constant state of improvement. And but that's my goal. My goal is that the Mets are going to be a premier, one of the elite teams in Major League Baseball.
The question's for Steve. You've done a lot.
That's it with Steve Cohen. He has changed the perception around baseball. The future's bright. The farm system is bumping. That's a big reason why I think they didn't go out and get Garrett Crochet. They'd rather use the power of the dollar than give up some of their high-end prospects. That's just the way David Stearns operates. He's not going to pay pitchers that are into their 30s. That's why a lot of Mets fans on here in our comments say, go get Corbin Burns. The facts are that is not going to happen. I'd be willing to bet a lot of money on that because David Stearns does not believe in paying pitchers when they're in their 30s. He doesn't, unless they're homegrown, it's just not going to happen. We have another clip here. Juan Soto, they asked him another reason why he left the Yankees. This was actually at the press conference. I want to bring it up. Here you go.
I haven't talked to any of those guys.
This is in regard to him talking to his former teammates.
You been in touch with anybody from your former team, and can you share what those conversations with your now former team, the Yankees, and could you share what those conversations might have been like?
I haven't talked to any of those guys. Definitely, we talked to them through playoff at the end of the playoffs, but after that, I make these processes. I haven't talked to any of those.
Isn't that severely strange? You saw every team break out everything in their power. The Mets brought in Lindor. You had the Dodgers bringing in their stars. Big Papi's getting involved with Boston. And the New York Yankees have probably the second most behind Ohtani, iconic player of the last decade on their team. Their captain, and he doesn't even make a courtesy phone call. How you been? What are you thinking of doing? Is there anything I could do to ease your mind? Playing for us long term? I don't mind you making more money than me. I just found that so strange at the end of the year when they asked Aaron Judge, like, what kind of influence are you going to have? And he said, they know where we stand. We want Juan back. We hope he comes back. To me, there's a lot more underground stuff that we're not uncovering that is happening over there in Yankee land. At least that's the perception that I get. We have another clip here. Steve Cohen on the Yankees, and I 100% agree with him on this clip. Let's give it a listen.
Any more special that you were able to get him away from the Yankees?
I mean, I'm not going to, I don't play that game, right? I mean, I can promise you the Yankees they'll take players from us and, they'll win their share of battles. And so, but that's what competition is, right? I mean, we compete on the field and we're friends off the field.
I don't know. I'm not friends with the Yankees off the field, but I get what Steve's trying to do there. At the end of the day, that's kind of like, that's him being friendly, but I think everybody knows there's a new sheriff in town. There really is. I mean, this is probably one of the most iconic free agents we've seen, outside of Ohtani, where there's been a real battle. Everybody knew Ohtani was going to the Dodgers. Everyone knew Yamamoto was going to the Dodgers. There was no competition there. The Blue Jays were used to run up the price. He didn't even want to meet with the Mets or the Yankees, Ohtani. He knew where he was going the entire time. Even Aaron Judge returning to the New York Yankees, he took less money to go back there because I think we knew the entire time he was going to be a Yankee. All we heard the entire Juan Soto free agency was he's going to be a Yankee. Oh, the Red Sox, that guy Mick on Twitter that everybody wanted to start retweeting who had no sources. He's in an agreement. 6 million people are retweeting. It's just unbelievable, the misinformation that's put out there. But at the end of the day, he wants to win, and that's what he chose. Now, here's that John Heyman clip that I promised for everybody. Let's give it a listen.
I'd like to see them get a hitter to hit behind Soto. I loved having Aaron Judge behind him. I know he loved having Aaron Judge as the captain in that clubhouse, but definitely batting behind him. I mean, how what an advantage that was. Now, Soto's an unbelievable all-time great hitter, but to have a guy like Judge, two-time MVP, a guy who had 62 home runs, broke the American League record, and followed up with an even better offensive year this year. I mean, Judge walked more than Soto this year. That tells you a lot about how teams are fearful of Judge. Now, the Mets do not have that at this point. I mean, they've got some young players. Certainly, Vientos was super last year. Alvarez is very talented, but they don't have that established, bona fide slugger to bat behind is Soto right now. I mean, it could be Vientos, which is a nice hitter, very good. I mean, you know, he's not going to be able to match Aaron Judge no matter what they do. But I mean, Pete Alonso's still out there. That's the one that really kind of makes sense to me. I don't know what Juan thinks about that, but that's the one that makes sense to me.
And when I totally agree with John Heyman on here. I think once the Mets, I'm saying once because I believe he'll be back, but once the Mets bring Pete Alonso back, the more I think about it, Soto needs to be 2 and Vientos needs to be 3. I mean, you want to talk about teams, another player that's going to be drastically helped, even though he doesn't need much help, second in MVP voting National League. If you have Juan Soto hitting behind Francisco Lindor, that's another game changer. Francisco, you have Pop. You're 1, 2, 3, and 4 between Lindor, Soto, Vientos, Alonso. 3 out of the 4 have the capabilities of hitting 40-plus home runs easily, Alonso. And we know what Vientos did in the amount of at-bats that he had. But also Lindor. He's guaranteed to hit 20-plus home runs. It's a lot of pop. I think that's the lineup that I would like to see. Maybe Nimmo moving into the 5-hole then behind Alonso. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment. Give me your best lineup configuration. A lot of people have been arguing. I like to use the comments as a forum, as I always say. Let me know what you guys think about the Juan Soto press conference. What's the next move for the Mets to make outside of Alonso? I mean, Heyman said it today. They have to add a frontline starter, whether that's Minaya, which the longer it goes on, I hate to say it, seems like he's not going to be a Met. David Stearns does not want to give him 4 years. Some other team's going to give him 4. Some other team might give him 5. Look at what Max Fried just got. Age 31, 8 years. It's not out of the realm for him to get a 5-year contract where the last year is a mutual option or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe there's everybody keeps throwing out Luzardo, even though to me he's not an ace. A lot of potential down there, the hard-throwing lefty. But I don't know. Maybe there's another experimental player that's out there David Stearns has his eye on. We saw they met with Nick Pivetta yesterday. That's another arm to watch out. 31-year-old out of Boston, around a 4 ERA. But we'll see. Again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you can, please like and subscribe. Share the video. Give us a follow on X at MetCastPod across all platforms. Tomorrow, we're calling the winner of our bobblehead giveaway with Focal. Be sure to enter in on X. It is absolutely free. It is the 3-tier Francisco Lindor, Kodai Senga, Pete Alonso bobblehead in the City Connect uniforms. It is freaking sick. Shout out to our friends at Foco. And until the next video, take care.